Opa. Doing a sound check. Yeah, looks like we've got sound. Okay. Tonight we're doing a super easy, super simple, very basic, slow cook pork loin with taters, a bunch of apples, secret ingredient, running dangerously low. Let's get started. The recipe, as always, is over at thedailybear.ca. That is today's recipe. Ooh. We're starting off with a double batch of mirepoix, which traditionally is 2 cups of onion, 1 cup celery, 1 cup carrot, cooked not in that order for 3 minutes apiece. And this gives you the most amazing comfort food base for the majority of savory dishes west of whatever that dividing line is. Starting off with, normally it's 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll dig up the actual mirepoix recipe. Mirepoix. Basically everything from Europe, South and West has something very, very, very similar. Mr. Dave. I totally forgot your gazpacho soup. I looked, I don't have one on my site. We just have our stainless steel pan. We're going to slowly melt some butter. So we're going to start off with about 2 cups of carrots. I'm just going to give these a really quick wash and peel. I want these diced fairly fine. And we're going to start the carrots for about 3 minutes on medium heat. Then we're going to add some diced celery for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to add the onion for about 3 minutes. And right before the end of that last 3 minutes, Katerina, right at the end of that last 3 minutes, we're going to throw in some minced garlic, which isn't traditional, but it's what I need. It's what I want. It's damn it, it's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm super uncoordinated today. Yeah, I don't know if I even need to peel these, but that's just me being lazy. They do look fine. Yeah, these are fine. Extra flavor. These are a little bland. Okay. What I need to do here is dice up these carrots. Now, even with the claw technique, we have a very tubular carrot. It's very rounderific. We don't want this to slide around. So we can slowly We're still using the claw technique. We're slowly pressing the knife into place. And once we're here, we can just chop it in half. Now that we have a flat section, we can play with these. I'm just going to get all the carrots set up like this. Going to give them a quick little circumcision. Now, if your carrot is longer than the length of your blade, just cut them in half. And these cuts don't need to be, if you really want, I mean, I guess you could stand this on end, but don't do that. Okay, raising the temperature on the butter to a medium because I'm almost done this. From here, I want a fine dice for all my Canadian friends, about a centimeter tops. Because the flat end of the carrots are so flat, this is nice and safe. This is easy to do. So I'm going to cut the bigger pieces into thirds. Nice and slow, taking my time. It's not a race. I'm not going choppy and doing my darndest not to cut myself. When you get towards the smaller pieces, feel free to cut them in half. And these little dices we want, again, in total, we want them around this size, like half a centimeter, quarter of an inch, give or take, as a cube. Got some low sizzling happening in the pan. I will zoom the camera over to the carrots in just a minute. Do and don't try to cut too many carrots at the same time. Like this was a little too much. Don't do this. Don't do what I'm doing. Famous last words. Doopa doopa doo. Doopa doopa doo. Don't throw your carrots all over the place, and don't pick them up with your bare fingers because they get kind of hot. I saw the picture of your cat looking at my cat avatar. That was hilarious. Oh, you know what? I need to adjust the the instructions, I didn't mention that I need to raise the temperature to a medium heat. The 3 to 4 minutes per veggie is a rule of thumb. Always appreciated that saying for obvious reasons. The carrots get cooked till they're slightly soft. Then we add the onions, cook them till they're slightly soft. Then we add the celery, cook that till it's slightly soft. The whole thing should take 10 to 12 minutes. All right. This is not the order to cut your onions. I'm having a really off day. I blew your kitty cat's little mind. Aww. I've seen other critters just hyperfixate on the cat avatar, but I don't know that animals know what the cartoon version of themselves actually look like, you know? So I'm just cutting this in half. I'm just going to give this a coarse-ish chop. Okay, the proper way to do this is cut out the ends. Make one minor cut all the way across, and the outermost layer should peel right off. One thing at this stage, if you traditionally you don't add any salt, you don't add any seasoning to the mirepoix. Personally, I think because of the way I'm going to be using it, I should be seasoning it after I add each vegetable, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to sprinkle in about half a teaspoon of salt. Now that might sound like a lot, it really isn't. And this, my friends, is why restaurant veggies taste so much better than the garbage you make at home. Because restaurant veggies are loaded with salt and they're loaded with fat. Okay, so I'm just going to chop this in half. Just going to make a couple of quick, coarse chops. Longitudinally, is that the word? Longitudinally? Yes, this way. And then along the meridians. Just something resembling a coarse dice, like these little pieces are going to fall apart. And that's all we need. You don't need to mince this up. You don't need to make a puree on your cutting board. You just need the majority of your veggies to actually land in the pan. See, and this big chunk here will fall apart once it starts cooking. If it doesn't, I'll deal with it later. Flat onion theory, nice. So I'm going to set my timatron for about 3 minutes. But more importantly is I want to feel that the onion's getting soft. This was in the heart of the celery. Some really gross slimy bits. I'm not impressed. No, sorry, I am not impressed. Okay, and I will play with that celery later. I'm going to give this a good wash because it's filthy. And you know, this celery is brand new, straight from Walmart produce area. And I'm not impressed. Woo! Okay, so the celery I want to cut to roughly the same shape and size as the carrots. Always, always, always with the claw. That didn't seem like enough time for a quickie. It seemed way too long. Yeah, that's only 1 cup. I'm actually going to grab a few more stalks. Nah, you know what? I'm feeling extra lazy today. This is good. I will have to check that song later. Because believe it or not, we're almost done. I don't just mean the beer pull, I mean everything. Okay, garlic. I know y'all get a kick out of this. 6s. Oh, one of them peeled nicely. This garlic's getting a little dry. Even the clove that came out perfectly peeled, I still want to get rid of the icky part on the bottom, just because. Do. How about a nude matador? That sounds extra dangerous. Throwing in another half teaspoon of salt. If you add salt regularly to the entire cooking process, you develop a much deeper flavor and just better flavor in general. You don't want to add all of the salt right at the end, but you also don't want to be over salted. So frequent taste tests are a good idea. Things get a little tricky when you're cooking with raw meat because you can't really taste to season. Okay, so that's been a couple of minutes. I'm just going to start mincing up my garlic and just throwing it in here. Once the garlic becomes very aromatic, then I know it's ready to go. I want the garlic slightly cooked before this goes into the crock pot. And going into the crock pot is what's happening right now. Be gone, thought. Behold. So the garlic is fragrant now. I can smell it all over the place. I'm just going to dump all of this into the bottom of my crock pot that I did not cover the bottom with about a quarter cup of oil, but I'll add that right now. If there's any bits of flavor, if there's any fond, if there's anything caramelized to the pan, this thing needs to get deglazed, which is just add a bit of water, leave it on high temperature, and just whisk it up. Even your silicone spatula is probably good enough. And that will break apart all of those bits of wonderful crusty flavor that's stuck to the pan. And yeah, it's pure flavor. Pure flavor. So when a recipe calls for deglazing the pan, that's exactly what they're talking about. Just going to throw in a quarter cup of oil. I'm going to give these a really good stir because the oil should have been on the bottom, but whatever, good enough. Hopefully the lens doesn't get too fogged up. Okay, so I've got a base down here of my mirepoix, and I'm actually going to plug this in now. And the slow cooker will be in on low. And this whole thing will be cooking for 6 to 8 hours. Not 68, but 6 to 8 hours. I'm going to throw in the pork. I'm going to throw in the potatoes. I'm going to cover. I'm going to add some liquid. Unfortunately, all I have is water. If I had some vegetable stock or broth, depending what you want to call it, what that was. Anything you deglazed from the stainless steel pan. You could use like chicken stock or broth or meat or bone broth, whatever you want. In general, I don't like adding water. Because water doesn't bring any flavor, but the mirepoix has a ton of flavor in it. So I said loin. I'm actually doing ribs. It's a really weird looking loin. These ribs don't need any trimming. They don't need any prep work. All I'm going to do is give these a quick rinse, pat them dry with my patent pending technique of using paper towel. I'm going to rub this with it's like 1 teaspoon salt and pepper per pound-ish. Yeah. So I'm going to get about 4 teaspoons of salt and pepper. and rub this well. This is going to go into the slow cooker, and I'm going to just cut up a bunch of potatoes to about 2 inches in diameter, like this size. Anything much smaller than this size, and the potatoes might get really mushy on you, and we don't want that. So I'm going to slide this off to the side. I think I have enough room here. Okay. Lots of paper towel. I'm going to hide that cable over here. And when we're done, we want the internal temperature to be around 155 Fahrenheit. So we're going to cook this, like I said, for about 5 hours. Then we're going to add the apple and the bourbon. And we're going to let it cook for another like 2 to 3 hours, however long it takes to get to 155 Fahrenheit. Okay, there's one. Now, normally for ribs, I would do something barbecue adjacent. But I didn't think that barbecue with apples is what I felt like. Maybe I felt wrong. I don't know. Going to wash my hands, even though I'm going to start fondling that fork right away. I want dry hands for starting this next step. I actually think I need more paper towel. I'm down to my last case of paper towel. Fortunately, my subscription lands at the end of the month, so I'm safe. I'm not freaking out. Okay, 4 teaspoons of salt, 4 teaspoons of pepper coming up. Unfortunately, I have to do this by hand. Okay. There's a half a teaspoon. Oh, you know what? I asked Best Sister Ever to bring me the Peugeot, or is it Ferrari? No, it's Peugeot spice mill, and she forgot to bring it over. And I have a stray hair underneath my nose that's poking up. So annoying. Now, this might sound like a lot of salt. It might sound like a lot of pepper. Believe me, it's not. We're going to be adding like 6 medium potatoes. We're going to be adding 5 apples to the mix, a bunch of liquid. It's about the right amount. Okay. Here's our salt and pepper mix. I'm going to give this a shaky. Incorporate everything. Just get right in there, squish the loin/ribs. See, when I said it's about right, it was exactly about right. No, I'm not going to brown these at all. I know, heathen, right? I'm going to have to sterilize my counter, but first I need to sterilize my hands. Karina, if it was a loin, I totally would. For these fall off the bone, probably going to be 8 hours. I want them to taste like apples and bourbon. Nah. But it's a good point. Like normally when you're cooking a bigger piece of meat, you want to sear the outside. That it does add flavor, add some nice color. Today, I'm being extra lazy. I need to sanitize this. I don't need my cutter anymore. Okay, so this is what we look like right now. I'm going to throw in a bunch of potatoes on top. You add enough liquid to cover, and that's it. And then we can watch some crazy videos or games or something. So these potatoes, I'm just going to give a good scrub. I'm not going to bother peeling them. I mean, you can if you want. There's one. There's 2. 3. And you can throw in as many potatoes as you want. But keep in mind, we're going to be adding 5-ish medium apples. So we need to make sure there's room left. I think that is what the cool kids are calling it these days. Scrubbing spuds. The apples definitely need to be peeled though. Okay. Piece of garlic. This is about the right size. And I am paying attention to what these look like on the inside. I'm looking for discolored spots. I'm looking for weird, icky bits. So this potato that's bigger, I'm going to cut this one into thirds and then cut these into half. So this is by far the biggest piece, and it's like inch by inch and a half by inch and a bit. Okay, all of this goes into the slow cooker. These things are just so genius. And now we're going to add a quart. Enough water to at least cover the meat and get the potatoes a bit too. That was closer to a pint. So the fat from the pork, the butter from the mirepoix, the extra quarter cup of olive oil that I added, that's going to give us more than enough lube. Like you can see the top, you can already see this greasy layer, or is it a Greek layer? Whatever. I could add another pint just to get most of these potatoes submerged. It's probably good. And this will do it. Slow cooker's on low. We're going to set the timer for 5 hours. And then to the top, I'm going to add, again, about 5 medium apples, peeled, cored, chopped into smaller cubes. And I'm going to add I'll add the booze then. Yeah. Just give it a chance to soak through everything. Some of this liquid will bubble away. It will slowly but surely cook, simmer away. Hopefully not too much. If it looks like the level of your liquid is going down too quickly, just add another cup here and there. But what you want to watch out for is changing the temperature in the slow cooker too much. Because if I add a couple of cups of cold water, it's going to go from being a nice cooking temperature to being a nice cultivating bacteria temperature. And we don't want that. We want the cooking temperature, not the botulism temperature. So if you're going to add liquid, add like a cup at most at a time, preferably hot. And that's it. You can do this. You can set this up right before you go to work. And if it cooks for an extra couple of hours, no one's going to care. And then you can just add your apples and let it cook for 1 more hour. and make sure to add your bourbon. That's it. Super, super, super easy. Very lazy. Did I mention super easy? Just like this guy. And if you want to see just how easy I am, all you need to do, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the, I mean, if you want to come down and cook or have a meal or hang out, you know the deal. Stamped envelope, self-addressed, send it over. That's if and only if you plan on being in the greater metropolitan region of Winnipeg. If you're planning on the outskirts of Winnipeg, way too far. It has to be Winnipeg proper. That's all I got. I'll record the rest later, I guess in about 5 hours. And I'll throw the whole thing together on a YouTube video and be on the lookout for it. Oh, and thanks to everyone for watching all the YouTube videos. I really appreciate the engagement. Basic ingredients, no gadgets, no fancy techniques. I mean, a slow cooker really isn't a gadget, and I'm thinking with how ubiquitous, that's a good $5 word, with how ubiquitous air fryers are, I might add that to the kitchen essentials. Let me know on the Discord if you think an air fryer is a gadget or a kitchen essential. There's the links. Twitch, thedailybear.ca is where I have all of my recipes. Whatever, Facebook and Discord. That's where all the cool kids hang out. Don't run away. Let's go play some games.